He is risen indeed. Hallelujah. May I speak in the name of the living God, the risen Christ, the lover of our souls. Amen. We're here again. We've arrived at that critical moment in the Christian year with that expression of joyful, confident faith. Alleluia, Christ is risen. He is risen indeed. Christ is risen, and through him we have the promise of being drawn into the resurrected life. But what does that actually mean? How can we approach this mystery, this idea of resurrection, of the risen life? Let's turn straight to the gospel. And it's busy, intense. We have here human life, our very existence captured in one little story. There's a lot going on. First of all, there's all that running backwards and forwards that Peter and John are engaged in. Here and there, hither and thither, apparently with some purpose. And yet things are unclear. Like most of life, things are unclear and we're running around. Peter and John, what have they actually discovered? An empty tomb. They don't know what they know. And so they run back to share this not knowing with others. And then there's the reason for the story as a whole, shrouded in grief, the heart-rending, whole body grief of Mary, sleepless, drawn inevitably, hopelessly to the tomb, to the place where his body lies. Running around, the news of no news, overwhelming grief. And then right at the heart of the story, at the heart of the gospel, at the heart of our faith itself, there is this moment, a moment of recognition. The moment, that moment, when Jesus speaks and calls her by name. Wrung out, strung out by grief and loss, her heart empty and abandoned and desolate. And then this moment, when she hears, when she recognizes, when her whole being, her whole body shudders with the power of that recognition. And suddenly, she calls out, she cries out, Rabboni. She reaches out. Powerful, beautiful, transforming, poignant, evocative. It is for me one of the most moving and astonishing moments of the Bible. It's almost overwhelming in the intensity of its intimacy. It touches on the very deepest of human desires. In the next few moments, I just want to reflect a little on the connection between resurrection and recognition. Over the last year, we've all faced that strange business of trying to communicate with the top half of our faces, to encourage or smile with our eyes, or to ensure that the tone of our voice conveys what we really want to say and get across. At the same time, those of us regularly on Zoom or Teams may have become all too aware of how we look and how we're coming across on screen. Was I too loud? Can you hear me? And all the rest of it. Masks and screens feel so artificial. But I wonder whether they just make something about our very human nature all the more obvious. Because in a profound sense, we're already screened and masked. The Apostle Paul, for example, talks of us seeing in a mirror dimly, contrasting that with the time when we shall see face to face. Elsewhere, he talks of our minds being veiled. Mirrors or screens, masks and veils. We live as human beings in a world where we cannot see each other clearly. We don't know what's going on behind the mask. We cannot really know one another. We remain a deep, unfathomable mystery to each other. Our thoughts and motivations, our doubts, desires, needs, and yearnings remain a mystery to one another. We're called to love our neighbour, to love one another as our very self, and yet we struggle to connect and understand the unique mystery of another human being. And that awareness of the depth of the mystery of another person doesn't diminish over time. Indeed, it can even deepen between those who know each other really well. Yet, of course, we also reach out to try and understand each other, our children, our parents, our friends, strangers, work colleagues. And sometimes we have that feeling that somebody gets us, that they understand part of who we really are, that they see us in a deeper sense, that they really understand us. I feel you, in that colloquial slang. It may be that they simply see that we're stressed or harassed at work or overwhelmed by the responsibility of being a parent, or unsure how to act in a particular context, or uncertain of what is expected of us as a teenager, or even how to walk and be and speak and dress as a man or as a woman. And they see this, and the carefully chosen words or smile of encouragement acknowledges something of who we are, something of our uncertainty and insecurity, where we are. The book of Proverbs has a really lovely line for this affirming insight. A gentle tongue is a tree of life. Well-chosen words bring life and growth in others. That sense of connection, of being recognized, valued, loved, is of profound importance to us as human beings. It transforms. It may simply be a micro-affirmation, a gesture of courtesy, but equally it could usher in a springtime of the soul, giving us a sense of being valued and rooted, so that we walk in the world a little freer and a bit more confidently. And this is how it connects to the resurrection. For in today's gospel, in the midst of all that running around back and forth, the confusing news of what's going on, there alongside the empty tomb is the empty heart. The empty heart transformed by the enduring presence of the beloved of Christ. This beautiful encounter between Mary and Jesus. Mary, Rabboni, the reaching out to touch, to embrace, to feel the tangible reality of love. Here lies the deep, quiet, hidden center of our lives as human beings. The poet and Christian mystic Emily Dickinson captures something of this quiet center of reality. The only news I know is bulletins all day from immortality. The only shows I see, tomorrow and today, perchance eternity. The only one I meet is God. The only street existence, this transversed. If other news there be, or admirable show, I'll tell it to you. The idea that the only one I meet is God is truly profound, for it takes us to the heart of real encounters between people, real moments of recognition between us, of knowing, of deep encounter. Those encounters can only be mediated by love. And love is the very character of God, of the God we worship. The rest of life, frankly, is running around thinking we've got news to share, backwards and forwards. Knowledge of ourselves and knowledge of God do not simply go hand in hand. Enveloped in love, they are the same thing. My deepest me is God, said St. Catherine of Genoa. Or as the North African theologian Augustine put it, you were within, but I was without. For it's not simply that we're a mystery to others. All too often, of course, we are a deep mystery to ourselves. We tell ourselves a story of who we are and what we like and how we are, so that we can keep it together, as they say. And yet we remain a mystery to ourselves. We may even find we look at pictures or images of ourselves and think, is that really me? I don't kind of recognize it. It doesn't feel like me. We are masked and veiled even to ourselves. We may sometimes feel lost or disconnected from our sense of self. I've lost touch with who I am. The journey to a deeper understanding of who we really are is a journey of vulnerability and humility. It is itself, then, a journey into Christ, a journey into the risen Christ, for he is the pioneer and the perfecter of the human journey, the divine human, the fulfillment of human nature, the guide and the map for that journey. And the church, we're a laboratory for exploring what resurrected living might be, for those journeys and explorations. It's not a coincidence that it's Mary to whom Jesus appears, for it is Mary who gives herself over most completely to accompanying Christ, who identifies with him in the depths of her sorrowful heart. the journey to our true self, the journey to what the mystics call the cave of the heart, the journey to the place where we can hear the risen Christ call us by name and feel lifted up and recognized, is not a journey we take by ourselves, isolated from others. It comes exactly through our vulnerable, risk-taking embrace of the sorrows and joys of others. There's a really profound truth in the sentence which captures the heart of African theology here. I am because we are. I am because we are has a profound truth to it. It's through our real participation with others that we come to discover more fully who we are in the love of God. We come to hear our name being called, and we invited to the resurrection feast. Alleluia. Christ is risen.